Boys and Girls has a rich basketball tradition. Today, it's among the city's best, but it's behind in the classroom, setting the stage for a new rule: no pass, no play.
It's all about education. It's all about achievement, academic achievement, and the basketball, football, track, all that stuff is like extra.
So Bernard Gassaway is changing the system. He's putting athletes on notice and coaches on edge.
All coaches in my school are frustrated.
I think everybody in the city is wondering what's going on at Boys and Girls.
Principal Gassaway, he's not playing with the first period rule.
The rule that says you gotta pass first period. Under PSAL policy, a student can fail 2 classes and still play. Not good enough for Gassaway. He wants athletes to pass all their classes.
I back the principal rule 100%, but I think, it's unfair for us to have to go through 5 market periods opposed to every other team in the building. Only maybe go through 2 at the most, maybe 1 football. I don't agree with it totally.
So she's pushing back. Boys and Girls is coming off a loss in the state tournament. There was a rash of poor grades, poor attendance, and lateness among players. Gassaway suspended more than half the team. It hurt the Kangaroos against Westchester's Mount Vernon.
It's tough because we were short-handed, and I think if we were fully loaded, they had no chance. They had no chance of beating us.
The new policy for athletes: 30 hours community service, pass first period. Sophomores and juniors can still fail a class, but they need a 70 average. So do the seniors. They have to pass all their classes.
I don't think that's fair to the kids.
A former standout at Boys and Girls, Lamont Samuel says no pass, no play goes too far.
I think some kids would fail because you do take a lot of classes and it do get tough.
Some accuse Gassaway of targeting the high-profile basketball team, using the state playoffs to send a message. You were sort of a villain in that whole situation. Do you feel that way?
I think as much of a villain as I may have been, I was also a hero to some.
Gassaway could have used a hero growing up. He was raised in Brooklyn by a single mother on welfare. Gassaway says back then he was a teacher's worst nightmare.
Yeah, basically getting high at lunchtime when they let us out, shooting dice. The game of choice was CeeLo. And so that was really what it was about, and messing with girls, things of that nature. All the things I criticize my kids for now.
A special ed student at Sterling High School, Gassaway says he was routinely suspended for fights, cut class, and got arrested almost a dozen times. For some parents, that makes him a better principal.
I mean, what better candidate to be a principal, having gone through some of the same steps that a lot of these children here are facing.
LaVon Gaston is a basketball mom. Her son Bryce was suspended during the state playoffs.
Mr. Gassaway is a different leader, and he's just no nonsense when it comes down to books.
And that's why she supports him. LaVon says that suspension has her son on a better path in class. Not just the players, coaches are trying to keep up with no pass, no play. Amber tomorrow will tell you what they're doing. No pass, no play. When Boys and Girls went to the state tournament in Albany, the story was about those who stayed in Brooklyn. Principal Bernard Gassaway suspending a half a dozen players. Now coaches at this basketball factory are trying to make sure that never happens again.
I was absolutely livid with the direction for which we were going. Coach Lovelace and the entire staff, we really did not have fun. It was tough.
In his role as parent coordinator, Elmer Anderson is trying to get moms and dads involved. Team study halls are more closely watched, and some players get one-on-one tutoring.
The new rule is we got to pass every class. So that's why we starting now, study hall even harder. Coaches is on us so when it comes down to grades, we'll be great.
Bryce Jones last year failed to make the grade. He wasn't allowed on the trip to states.
I felt depressed, but it was my fault, so I had to take responsibility of it.
His class is trying to learn from last year's. 3 seniors were on the fast track to Division I scholarships. Now their futures are unclear. Mike Taylor was late to first period. Often. He failed and was suspended to start the playoffs. A decision Gassaway doesn't regret.
You had people say, well, I'm different. I play so well that they can't have, he actually will not dream of not playing me. And I shattered that, that dream. It became a nightmare for some.
I was home crying almost every night. I seen my mom crying, so it was just hurting me inside.
Taylor had signed a letter of intent to play at Rutgers. Instead, he's off to junior college, trying to get back on track academically. Meanwhile, Boys and Girls looks to better balance books and basketball.
The objective is to get us to that national level, whereas people know We're no longer a boys and girls high school basketball team, but we're a program.
That takes a lot. Practice is year-round. The season stretches from November to April. Boys and girls played outside New York City 6 times, with 3 games on national TV. How important is sport to the fabric of a school like this?
Yeah, I think it's very important. I think it's an essential element of it, but it could never take precedent over academics, because as you see, if you have a school, in many schools, giants in Erasmus, Canarsie, that has strong sports programs, but now they're closed.
And boys and girls with more than 2,000 students could be next. The Department of Education is watching closely. On average, less than half the students graduate.
The school can literally be closed with the one stroke of a pen. I mean, it could be closed.
For the 51-year-old, work can start before the sun comes up and end as late as 11 at night. He's on a crusade to make sure Boys and Girls stays open, like it or not.
I'm not their friend. We're taking the long way, right? I'm not giving up on you. How you doing there?
And Gassaway says the work's paying off. He's seeing success stories. After a year of prep school, Lamont Samuels at Fordham. Wilbert Lee's on a football scholarship at the University of Connecticut.
I don't want it to be said that Boys and Girls has a great tradition of basketball, but academically they're at the bottom. It doesn't work. We had to flip that.
Gassaway says the policy will be updated each year. Eventually, all athletes, from freshmen to seniors, will have to pass all their classes to qualify. And this story is getting a lot of reaction on Facebook. Leasia writes, "An education is the top priority of schools. Sports programs should enhance a student's high school experience, not foster failure."